The one interesting thing about woke culture is they're actually really ashamed of everything they're involved in. In science fiction, the people who write science fiction don't actually like science fiction. They wish they weren't science fiction writers. They want to be literary writers. And so they actually change the language to try to, like, I guess, fool themselves. It's really, really weird. But this is what they do all the way around. It is all about changing language so that everything's meaningless. It's a communist agenda. And it's been going on in science fiction for a very, very long time. I've been covering things here with the Last Dangerous Visions that's going on. J. Michael Straczynski is pushing a woke mind virus anthology out on the world, and it's been really permeating in science fiction for a lot longer than that. All these people, like I said, don't actually love science fiction. They don't actually love anything about the culture, and that's why they're trying desperately to destroy it. Because if they feel like if they can destroy it, well, then maybe they could be get more participation trophies and be more valid. There's nothing more interesting than this this article here. Crossover sci-fi author Tara Campbell comes home with new novel. And you're going to see exactly how she doesn't actually love science fiction. She's not interested in it. She's interested in telling some weird agenda-ridden thing. Of course, pushing the DEI narrative. And she's embarrassed by the fact that she's in genre fiction. Very weird. By contrast, I'm quite the opposite. I'm the most trusted name in science fiction fandom for a reason, my friends. And I'd love for you to smash that like and subscribe button. Join us here as we talk about all things science fiction and fantasy going forward. And we're working to change the culture in multiple ways. So I appreciate you guys being here, a part of the community. Part of what we're doing, of course, is writing our own books that are separate from the publishing industry. I've been banned and blacklisted more times than I can even count, and it's because they're scared. Even my most I guess egregious haters always say that, like, look, JDA is a talented writer. I just wish he'd focus on the writing. I hear this all the time, and it's like, do you know how many books I've come out with in the last 5 years? It's like 20. How many has Scalzi come out with? Not very many, because he can't even sit down and write. He's not focusing. I'm very focused, and I tell great science fiction, and science fiction like you used to get in the past. Now, this is my space opera series. It is about a spy thriller who goes out there and he's embedded into an alien starship to try to bring technology back home to Earth to help fight a war against these aliens who are hyper-aggressive and maybe going to destroy humanity. He gets caught up in a very personal way, and it escalates from there. So check this out. It's The Stars Entwined, and it builds over a beautiful trilogy, and I recommend getting the entire trilogy, just plowing through it. It's on ebook, print, and audio. And thank you guys so much for supporting our books, supporting our efforts here. I have a brand new book that is going to be coming out of this probably in next year, and I'm just wrapping up writing the first draft of that right now. It's going to be about space exploration because I miss Star Trek, like real Star Trek. So check this out. It's in the description below. And guys, thank you for backing our books and supporting us. So here's our award-winning author, and you can tell right there from the picture that this is going to be trouble when you get into this. Many DC readers will recognize the name Tara Campbell. For years, she was a mainstay in our city's literary scene. Now, this is what they always do, guys. It's always a literary scene. They always use their credentials. They get into these little clubs and the like to give themselves a bio that they can just go and talk and give these talks all the time. Very little of these people ever actually sell any books. We've seen it with the SIFWA organization, where it's all these weird cat ladies, who are with blue hair, who are chubby with their walkers because they can't even walk anymore because they're so obese. They pretend to write science fiction, but they mostly just go out there and complain on panels that women are needed in science fiction, which is weird because women make up the vast majority of the publishing industry at this point. There's really zero need to have any diversity, equity, and inclusion sort of things in that level. But they keep pushing anyway because it's all about just removing men from the space. It's not actually about equality. It's quite a lie. Now, that's what, like I said, they get into these literary scenes, and they go speak in these panels in front of 2 people. This video probably is going to reach more people than Tara Campbell ever has in her entire life, and that's a sad thing, but that's the state of science fiction right now. And she's changed the language. As you can see right here, she says, known for what she calls crossover sci-fi. What the hell is crossover sci-fi? This is a term that, again, doesn't exist. And it's stupid because, sci-fi is sci-fi is sci-fi, isn't it? Her work tends to contemplate, quote, what happens when an ordinary person faces extraordinary circumstances. Well, that's literally what science fiction was, an ordinary person going out and being a hero in extraordinary circumstances. Like, there's no reason to redefine this. I mean, what is she even talking about? And that's the thing with SJWs. They always pretend like what they're doing is new, it's innovative, it's like the brand new thing. Nothing ever happened before now. It's year zero. I'm making something new that went of an ordinary person facing extraordinary circumstances. Wow, cool. That, like I said, that describes like almost every hero in Heinlein science fiction ever. It is what it is. So crazy. Before she taught creative writing, and of course they're always teachers, she graduated with a Master's in Fine Arts. She won 2 awards from the DC Commissions on Arts. See, they give each other awards. It's all like this big clout structure, like I said. And of course, she moved to Seattle last summer. Yes. And she'll be back in town for her 6th book. So let's look at this, because now she's talking about this new book, and she says it's an eco-fantasy novel with sentient gargoyles. So this isn't science fiction at all, as you can see, and these women never write science fiction at all. This is the big lie that they always tell. They get into these organizations where it's sci-fi, and that's why they try to not call it sci-fi or make up their own term like crossover sci-fi, because it's not science fiction. It's fantasy, and it's an eco-fantasy, which means it's some global warming nonsense agenda thing. And that's exactly why these newspapers and the like are promoting it. So you can see how this works. The media promotes these authors. The authors then just stay on message, and then they act like they're an authority after they've promoted them, and it becomes this giant circle jerk of like appeal to authority. And that's exactly why they've been able to like maintain the culture on the left for a very long time. And I'm calling out people right now, like the Blaze, like the Daily Wire. Like, if you just did the same thing, if you interviewed me or interviewed John C. Wright or Brian Niemeyer, those are some great Catholic writers, by the way. If you guys don't want to look them up, you should. Honestly, like, we could be creating our own ecosystem just like this to combat it, but they never do. Like, it's really just maddening. So here it is. She keeps going here and talking about this, and they talk about when hearing the phrase speculative fiction, most readers will think we're referring to either science fiction or fantasy. There are elements of both in your novel. Oh, very nice. But this work leans into literary writing, with beautiful, even lyrical storytelling, and far less extensive world building than we'd see in aforementioned genres. How do you approach speculative literary writing? So you see how they like try to sound smart, but they actually don't say anything. They say, actually, your book, it just like doesn't fit in the genres because like you're too freaking lazy to world build. That's like a red flag 101. This is something that in the past, like, editors would have said, you know what, we're rejecting your novel because it doesn't have enough world building for. But at this point, they call it literary in order to get around that. And because she's on message, it's about the climate change BS. They're going to publish it anyway, and they're going to congratulate her for actually doing not as much work as she should have. So you see how they just manipulate the words and manipulate the tone, where they're actually doing nothing. They're accomplishing nothing. She's not writing anything interesting whatsoever. This is talentless. This is hack writing 101. And then she tries to define this word, speculative fiction, which has been around for 50 plus years. It usually means like something focused on the fantastical on that level. And everybody kind of knows what that means. But listen to her redefine it like it's year zero and like she invented this. Before I stumbled upon the term speculative fiction, I used to say that I write science fiction for people who don't think they read science fiction. And as you can see, it's immediately disdain for the genre of science fiction again. These woke people don't like the audiences that actually read their books. They don't like the actual genres that they're supposed to work in. And it's because they don't want to actually work in those genres. Like I said, she doesn't want to do the world building, doesn't want to do the work that's required for science fiction to be excellent. And so she has to make up this sort of like thing where she's like, oh, I'm in my own space because I'm just so brilliant in order to do this. And then this stupid newspaper goes and just golf claps for her to pretend like it's actually true. This is where we're at. This is the entire woke agenda in one article that we can just show exactly how these people operate. We're demonstrating exactly why these people are destroying the science fiction publishing industry. It is exactly what I've been talking about for a lot of years, and it's a wonderful example of just why the mainstream science fiction publishing is losing. I love the way speculative literary opens up narrative by allowing us to go beyond the bounds of realism and get at emotional truths. So this is all meaning, this is all gobbledygook again. Word salad to make herself sound smart. Emotional truths, there's no such thing as emotional truths. Facts are not emotional by definition. And so, like, what is this? It's a lie. It's a lie that it's even science fiction. And that's why she's going out of her way to say it's not science fiction. So like I said, they just keep on going off on them. You've always been a rebel when it comes to form. You see just these red flags showing that this book's not very good. Many writers struggle effectively to convey different points of view when their novels have multiple main characters. You seem to do this effortlessly. That's they're trying so hard to just give her just some accolades in order to make her look good. And this is exactly what the mainstream media does. So yes, call out the Daily Wire, call out all these other places, because they need to build this in reverse with real talent. Because what's going to happen if they do that, if the media does amplify our messages here, the real talent will win out over this, because you can't stop the signal with truth. It really is absolutely true. And when we're writing things that are good and beautiful and true, it's going to win 100% of the time. They tried to blacklist me multiple times from this industry, and I keep selling. And they keep trying to ignore it. They keep trying to pretend it doesn't exist, and it never works. There's a reason, and that grassroots word of mouth is a big, big thing. Now, if only we had those media apparatuses, we could do something different, and that's what we're trying to accomplish here. I hope you'll join us. Please hit the like and subscribe button. Leave a comment down below. Hopefully this was a good expose on what's going on in sci-fi for you. Hit the like and subscribe button. We'll be back soon.